All right, final topic of the day, and it's an unfortunate one, especially for CONCACAF and Bayern Munich and Canada. Their skipper, Alphonso Davies, will be out for several months with an ACL injury in his right knee. Now, we're told that he will indeed undergo surgery, but this is just exactly what nobody would have wanted. Now, Alphonso Davies' agent also had a couple of things to say. He said, "I'm very disappointed Alphonso was not 100% after the Mexico game." This is in the Nations League, and it was planned that he was not going to start against the USA. This was in the third place playoff. Now, on Saturday night, the exception was he would not be in the 11. As a captain, I feel he was pressured to start the game by the coach. Alphonso is not the kind of guy to say no. In those moments, he ended up playing, and look what happened. Canada Soccer needs to do a better job managing these players. In my opinion, Alphonso is down and obviously really disappointed about this injury. Thankfully, he's in wonderful hands with a world-class group at Bayern who will take great care of him, and he's expected to have the surgery within the next 24 hours. Well, Canada Soccer also decided to respond, and they said, "We want to express our full support for our men's national team captain Alphonso Davies as he recovers from this unfortunate injury. Fonzie's strength and resilience matches his world-class talent, and we all look forward to having him back and fully supporting him during his recovery." Canada Soccer's coaches and experienced medical staff are true professionals and have always prioritized player safety and well-being. Anything suggesting otherwise, hint, hint, Mr. Agent, is untrue. All right, Shaka. Now, it's never good when we have agents taking on federations and vice versa, but this is just bad news pretty much for everyone, but especially Canada, considering where we are in terms of counting down for the World Cup, especially Canada's involvement in the Gold Cup this summer. And look, he's their captain, so they're going to miss his presence either way. But as for Bayern Munich, too, it just came as at probably the most unfortunate time, even though they have a nice points cushion to win the Bundesliga at the moment.
Yeah, a cushionary top of the Bundesliga, but of course, Bayern are judged by so much more, especially given the disappointments of last season. They would expect to go far, if not reach the final in the Champions League, which of course is being played in Munich. So Alphonso Davies missing for Bayern Munich is a blow. First of all, before we get to all the back and forth, thoughts go out to Alphonso Davies. It was the most nothing of challenges. And all of a sudden, his ACL is torn, his season is over. And it shows, it kind of speaks to a lot of the ACL injuries that we've seen during the course of the season. And while this is on international duty, the calls about player workloads and the number of games that players play during the course of the year, again, will come into sharp focus, because this just looked like absolutely nothing yet again. But that's Alphonso Davies' season all but done. And to the rhetoric, the kind of back and forth, I can quite easily see both things being true. That Alphonso Davies, maybe in speaking to the club or his agent, says, well, I won't play against in the third place playoff. I'll only play 45 minutes, or I'll only come on for the last half hour, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, as you get closer to game time, and let me see how I phrase this properly. There's also a kind of political context right now with the US and Canada. Now, as rivals, that's there. And Canada always wants to beat the US regardless. But as I say, there's a slight political context to it, which maybe motivates Alphonso Davies all the more, which has nothing to do with the Canada Football Association, has nothing to do with whether the coach pressured him or not. It's all about him representing Canada. And he made a decision. Now, I've also been there, that, you feel a little tired, you feel a little worn, but come game time, you want to play. That's just how we're conditioned. So rather than try to pass blame around, let's try to make Alphonso Davies and his recovery the center of all of our focus.
Well, as his agent said, if it was common knowledge, at least to Jesse Marsch and his coaching staff, that Fonzie was not 100% after the previous game.
No
and
player ever
considering,
is. No player ever is 100%. And that, for me, that's a little bit of a red herring. The amount of times I've played when I'm not feeling 100%, or I've had to have a painkiller injection, or every single player tells that story. That's if we only played when we felt 100%, we'd play 10 games a year.
Well, with that said, do you cast any further blame, I suppose, on them and the coaching staff, if you do any at all, considering the pitch at the SoFi Stadium as well?
Well, you can't blame the coaching staff for the pitch. And again, it's one of those. As a player, you make an informed decision. Alphonso Davies is experienced. I don't think Alphonso Davies is pressured in any way, or anybody can pressure Alphonso Davies. If he takes the field, it's 99% because of him, because he decided, I want to play this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think in those situations, when you're wearing your country's logo, you're always going to play, even if you're feeling 5%, especially when there is a chance to win some sort of a medal. And that's exactly what Canada ended up doing anyway. So at least it wasn't all a lost cause. Well, there is more Bundesliga coming up on ESPN. Unfortunately, Bayern will be without Alphonso Davies. But as we discussed, they still have a nice little points cushion at the top of the table. They are going up against St. Pauli. That's Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+.